going on, everybody? This is Zach, and I'm back with another episode of Man to Mike. It's a place where a couple of gentlemen can just sit down and talk about things and it just be okay. And so that's what we're going to do today. I've got a gentleman here with me. His name is Mike Baer. I'm excited to have him here. He's actually a neighbor of mine, and he became a neighbor of mine when he bought my house, and then I moved in like 8 houses up. And so, yeah, man, I'm so excited that you're here. I'm glad you joined us, and just want you to tell me a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful house, by the way. You did a great job.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. So, no, but that's how we kind of met. I mean, it was a pretty cool experience. It was not smooth on my end because of but it all worked out in the end.
It did all work out.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, no worries.
And but I'm from New York. I'm a New Yorker, born and raised. My whole family was from up there, literally.
Gotcha.
I've been down here about 4 years now.
Gotcha.
And I love it. I love Knoxville, Tennessee.
Very, very cool.
And I love being down here.
So where did you grow up in New York?
So
just a little bit.
I grew up in Rockland County, which is like the suburbs,
I got
but
you.
about a half hour north of the city, Manhattan.
Very, very cool. So what was life kind of like growing up in New York?
It was cool. Like I remember, because we're about the same age. Going to the malls, hanging out. I mean, this is pre, the cell phone stuff and everything.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was the malls, going down to the city, hanging out, taking the train down.
Yeah.
Doing kids, teens, crazy, stupid things.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
Yeah. What was your friend group kind of like growing up?
Friend group was diverse. So we pretty much we all wanted to be police officers. My little group of 3, 4, even to that, best friends, lifetime friends. So we joined the local ambulance corps kind of together.
Gotcha.
In the neighboring towns, and that's how we kind of clicked. And kind of when we were like 15 years old, that's kind of where the route I took. And we all wanted to become cops eventually, which we all did successfully, thank God. And so we were pretty focused with the volunteer ambulance, going on the ambulance, doing the emergency calls, becoming EMTs. Some became paramedics, and then some became firemen. Some went the police route. But we all ended up in the police department somehow.
That's awesome,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, are you still friends with pretty much most of those people today?
Oh, yeah. Well, we were in a group chat daily. Even like my old team when I was I'm retired from the police department now, but even when I was, it's a lifelong friendship. We still talk daily. It's great.
That's awesome, man. So what do you think was like your draw to want to do that? What made you want to be a cop?
I'll be honest with you. Drug addiction has hit my immediate family.
Yeah.
Not once, but twice, 2 different family members.
Gotcha.
So it's weird, but I was always like anti the drugs. My uncle died of a drug overdose, so I was really anti that, and I always wanted to help people. I didn't know how, but the EMS it brought me the ambulance corps. I was in high school, and that kind of they were doing a recruiting event, and I said, you know what, screw it, let's see what this is I was 15, I think I was maybe 14 and a half.
Yeah,
and I eventually got on the board of directors there. Through the years, became an EMT. I took leave of absence because I got hired with the New York City Fire Department, so I was FDMY, EMS.
You've done all of it then.
It's a very weird life. I mean, we all have. I'm learning now slowly. Everyone has a story.
Yeah.
Everyone has bullshit. Everyone has things.
Everybody.
Regrets. It's everybody, and that took me a long time to realize that because I was always focused on me.
Yeah.
Saying like, oh, I'm not good at this. This one's doing better than me, and I want to be there. And at the end of the day, everyone has their own problems.
Yeah.
All right. No one gives a shit. Everyone has their own stuff going on.
Yeah.
And it took a while for me to slowly realize that.
Yeah. How do you think being a cop influenced that over the years? Because it's got to to a degree, it's got to change your outlook on people or society, or just it's got to be tough to balance that.
So, and I mean, I can speak, for the majority, but like when you're in the academy. When I say brainwashed, I mean in a good way. A lot of us versus that. I'm going back almost 13 years ago, but things have changed, I'm sure. But I've been out of the loop for a couple of years now. But it was an us versus them. We're the police. We're big and bad. That slowly fades. It gets old very quick. All right. I'd say after you're on the street, you're on the beat for a couple months. Yeah. It gets old, and you're like, no, you're
that
here.
seems like a young man's game. It's us versus them. Yeah, I got you.
You're 20 years old,
ego.
21 years old in the academy. It's an ego, and
you don't have the world experience of what you're about to get into either. I'm sure.
Well,
there's no way to prepare for NYPD. I'm sure.
Well, as a 23-year-old kid, I'm going into domestic calls. I'm not even married till this day, and I have no kids, and I'm telling a 50-year-old couple, how what to do. It's silly when you think about it at the end of the day, but it shaped a lot, and it was the best thing I ever did, and it was a dream come true. But change is good. Change happens. People fuck up, myself included, and sometimes you got to know when to leave things in life. You have to.
Yeah. So how long were you there?
Yeah, so I did the EMS for about 2 years. No, actually probably 3 years. That got the pension rolling because I always wanted to go on NYPD. So I took the test all over. Basically, whoever's going to call first, I'm going to go because I just wanted to be a cop. So the EMS in New York City, the pension time was able to transfer over to the police time. So it all worked out. It wasn't a waste of time. Yeah. So got on NYPD at 23. I was on the street for a very short time. It was during Occupy Wall Street. I don't know if you remember that. With 2011, it was a lot of like the.
I was pretty checked out during that year.
Yeah, no. I'm sure from what you said, I'm sure. So
that was the peak of me being checked out.
Was it that guy? Yeah? Yeah. All right. So I was just getting on, and they were in a need for guys that fit my profile in the undercover aspect of things. White, clean cut. People. All types of people buy drugs. There's going back. We talked prior to this, but stereotypes, and we'll get into that. But drug addict, rich, poor, gay, white.
It does
Chinese,
not discriminate, man.
Doesn't matter.
No.
So I fit a profile. They put me in Manhattan South, which is basically Manhattan South Narcotics, which is 59th Street all the way down to Wall Street, river to river, west to east. And I was doing buy and bust. Started out doing that, just bullshit, little, dime bag, stupid shit.
Yeah.
That slowly transitioned to casework. So meaning buy and walk. So I would buy from you, let's say, you're not getting locked up and maybe make it into a couple months, maybe a year, who knows, and try to get to bigger, people.
For sure.
So that was cool. And then an opportunity, I got promoted detective pretty early in my career. I had probably 3.5 years on. Wow. So I wasn't a police officer for a long time.
Yeah.
I did the undercover thing. And part of the undercover thing is that if you do 18 months, you're going to get
your fast track.
You get the shield. Yeah. So it's like a payoff for being in that kind of world, shit world. So I did that, and then got promoted detective, and I said I want to go to general investigations. So basically you're stereotypical guy you see on a suit, law and order shit. Yeah. But it's not. It's a lot of bullshit. So I did that. I got very lazy and complacent. This was right after I lost 4 family members in between a couple of years. Yeah. So my mental health went down. I was really just a lot of anxiety, depression, overthinking. Yeah. Maybe ADD, who knows, PTSD from undercover stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was getting lazy. I was being sloppy on paperwork. And this is going to sound like stupid, but it was basically I was doing like a triage system. So obviously we'll go in the drug world. Yeah. A little dime bag of weed, you can't compare that to a kilo.
Right.
Just like murder and a petty larceny. If I steal the water from 7-Eleven, that has nothing. It's two different. You're comparing crazy things, and it was a lot of casework, and I was just basically triaging things.
Gotcha.
And I got caught up in some stuff, and I'm not proud of what I did. And it was basically just saying I did stuff and I wasn't doing it, and I caught up. Yeah. And basically, I was at a point mentally where I either going to retire early or it's going to turn into something bigger than what it was. And it was big enough as it is. But I said, you know what? My family owns K&P Remodeling, which is based down here. My dad, successful company. My stepmom, my parents are divorced, but I didn't mention that. But it's a really good blended family. We actually all have holidays together.
Oh,
my step-parents, my parents, everybody, grandparents. Very cool. So that's good. The point I'm trying to make is that everything happens for a reason. And I was able to come down here and help community in a different way. So retired from the police. I had they basically retire. You know, you're going to be fucked for the rest of your time here.
Well, at least there was that. At least you had that.
Yeah. So I said, it's time to go. So I did that, and that was a great decision. And it just worked out where I started doing sales with my father's company, K&P Remodeling. We're headquartered in Knoxville, but we operate in 10 to 11 different states. So it's all over the place. We do kitchen remodeling. We did window replacement, closet design. So it's a big company. And I did the sales, was pretty successful with that. But I want to do more like community aspect work. I went on Indeed and joined a board of directors for Project One Life. And that's a youth mental health organization. So I got into that, and that was good. And then I kind of pitched to my dad and stepmom, they're the owners of the company. I basically said, what if we do a community outreach division within KMP and a culture division as well, you know, employee culture? And they said, let's see. I mean, are we at this point that we need this, or let's see, because we always gave back as a family and as a company, but it just wasn't structured, or 100% in. We would just basically, I hate to say it, but write checks, sponsor tables, and not even show up.
Right.
So now it was more of like a brand awareness as well, and me becoming kind of like the face of the company in that aspect. And they went for it, and it's been a success.
That's awesome.
The majority of it is community. So we donate to a new charity every day.
Yeah.
Mostly mental health, end hunger, homelessness. That's our niche.
Yeah.
But we'll branch out to other stuff. But every day, new charity.
Yeah.
We do a lot of stuff. We're partnered with Salvation Army and American Red Cross.
Very cool.
So I deal with that aspect of basically the charitable work. And then, employee newsletters, keeping everyone in the loop, because we do have people in different states that only see us once a year at the big holiday party. So we want to keep everyone in the loop, promotions, birthdays, anniversaries.
Yeah.
And we kind of merge those two things together, culture and community outreach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just helping in another way now, not as an EMT, not as a police officer, just something totally different. And it's, at the end of the day, it's the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's helping people
For sure,
in a different way. And failure isn't permanent. That's the bottom line. My issues are different than yours. Your issues are different than, you had Tyler on yesterday. And that was good. I enjoyed his episode.
Yeah.
And I think it took me moving down here, getting out of the police department as like a blessing in disguise to just open up my mind to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because I was in that police mode for too long.
Yeah, that would be a shock to the system for sure. Like coming down here. I mean, a lot less populated too.
Well, not now. Now it's getting crazy.
It's
crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of California, New Yorkers coming down.
Dude, I've been in PAL pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
And so whenever we first moved out here, there was this massive blizzard in '93. Everybody talks about it. It was legendary, and they hope it'll always happen again for some reason. But so it's like the greatest thing that's ever happened here. But anyway, so we moved in like 2 weeks before then in '93. And then this blizzard happened. But back then, when you go down Emory Road, the only thing that was there was a Chevron, a Texaco, and the interstate. There was where Kroger's is. There was an airplane hangar. There was a airport there. Yeah. And then back in the day, before they got Beaver Creek under control back here, when it would rain, it would flood. Like Powell would flood like crazy. Like. Water would be up here. Like back in the day, water would have been way up here.
What was it? Because this was a farm.
It was just a farm right here. Yeah. But like, so where Kroger's is now up there, back in the day when it would rain, that hangar, if we got like a good solid rain for a couple of days, the whole hangar was underwater.
Oh, shit.
Like it would be up on the interstate.
Jeez, that's unbelievable. I mean, and now they're building like crazy here.
Yeah.
Belltown, right down the block.
400 units.
Yeah. And they're going to do commercial space. I don't know if you know, restaurants. I think that's cool.
It's cool, but like the infrastructure on this road cannot handle it.
I know.
And
that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's good though.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, the population's definitely getting a bit much for me. And so me and my wife's actually been talking about that here recently. Like we do love it here, but like, I don't know, it's getting pretty dense and I don't really like it. So, but anyway, so whenever you left and whenever you retired from the police department, where was you at just kind of mentally with that? Because did you just kind of come to peace with it, or there was some resistance and you just weren't ready? But
it was a big culture shock, just like culture shock going from, maybe civilian to military, and vice versa. It was a culture shock, but a good culture shock. And like I said, it was just a blessing. Everything happens for a reason. And I think, if that didn't happen, I probably still would have been up there and, going up the ranks. And I definitely would have been up there. Yeah. But it sounds crazy because I would never say this back in the day, but I'm happier now than when I was a cop.
Oh,
that was my dream. That was my dream,
I get that, but sometimes, man, it's not worth the peace. Like, I don't know, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, because anything that I guess you can lose your peace with whatever you're doing. I mean, you can get so caught up in anything that you just lose your peace, because once that's gone, like, the joy of it's gone.
Exactly. And that's where the laziness began. I wasn't having the joy, and it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It would just become so much paperwork that there was no fun.
That, and it was getting to a point where I didn't even want to go to work anymore. Like, when I woke up, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I got you.
But I'm grateful for it. It was the best experience.
And how long were you a detective for?
Oh, I was a detective, probably 6 years.
I got you.
Yeah.
That would still been cool, man. I can't imagine like some of the experiences that you would have had on that. Like, what's the wildest thing?
In the undercover stuff or regular, just in general? I mean, it's
general.
always sad, like, kids, stuff with kids. That's always sad. Thankfully, I didn't have to deal with that. I really dealt with like really larcenies, grand larceny, after the undercover stuff. I mean, murders there, but the precinct I was in, there wasn't really much going on. It was a slow command in Manhattan.
Yeah.
But I started off in the Bronx, like as a beat cop, and that was busy. But probably anything with the kids. I mean, that kind of stuff is bad. And
that would be so rough.
And you have this mentality that everyone, especially if you're in, and I'll be honest with you, if you're in a crappy area, you think everyone's against the police. It's the opposite. I mean, you'd be in, an elevator in the projects, basically an older couple, are in there, and they're happy that you're there.
Yeah.
They don't want to live around bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to, again, with maturity, you realize that there are good people out there.
Yeah,
not everyone's bad.
And I think the majority of people are good.
Yes.
And so
100%.
Yeah, and I guess seeing that world of it, it gives you a better view of a good majority of people are good.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, but I can see how it would get tough too, and just seeing that small percentage of people you do see, and putting that as the maximum of the whole.
And that's what it happens, but you eventually grow out of that.
Gotcha.
The initial.
It's more of that young man's game.
Young man run around. You want to arrest everybody. Crazy.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It was. But it gets old.
I get that.
Man. It just gets old.
How sketchy did it get doing undercover stuff, man?
The undercover. So
because I've been in a lot of drug deals myself that got sketchy, and so
I wanted to talk to you about that. And I can be open about this. My dad had a drug problem back in the day, and he's been sober so long. He was successful. Started a company, $22 million company now with $900.
Yeah,
it's just incredible. People change is good. People can fuck up, and you can even do better than before.
Absolutely, dude.
And fuck, what was the question?
Gosh, I'm ADHD.
So with the drug deals.
Yes.
I never had, the closest thing really was someone that put a crack pipe to me and said, do the, like a dirt, it was like a crack. And do this, and I just push it.
God, that's gotta be scary though. A crackhead coming at you with a crack pipe. Like, was it a broken one? Like he's going to jab you? Oh yeah.
But he was so great at pushing.
Yeah.
It was stupid. Because at the end of the day, for the most part, drug deals. I want the drugs, you want the money, and we're not friends. Bye bye, see you, and it's quick. That's what it is here. When I was doing it as an undercover, because you're a cop, but other people don't know.
Right.
They're going to ask you, but you're allowed to say no. It's legal. People think like, oh, you have to tell them.
No, you have to say it.
It's so stupid. You're allowed to. I'm not going to go into a bunch of the secrets, but you're exempt from the drinking on the job. There's little things. I mean, there's little things. So my thing was like, you'd be like, oh, are you a cop? I'd be like, are you? And you're like, no. And then I'd be like, I think I'd push it on you. You're the one that brought. I think you are. I was like, let's go to the bar, have a shot. Because if I would play it against you and be like, cops aren't allowed to drink, so let's go for a shot. If you drink in front of me, we're good. And they're saying the same thing. Like, oh, then he's not. Cops can't drink. So we would go have a shot, and that just got the instant connection.
Y'all are dirty.
No.
That's awesome. That would have been fun though.
So but it gets old. It gets old. It's stupid,
I'm sure.
People are, and then you realize people, people are going through shit. It's not,
Yeah.
We weren't really going after the head, user. There's really, the big people, not just the guy that just bought a dime. But we're not going after that shit.
Yeah. That's always been crazy to me. Cops arresting somebody over a 20 bag or something like.
Well, there's people in federal doing life in prison for a bullshit sale back in the 80s, It's
crazy. Like, why have we not dealt with that yet?
I mean, and a lot of it is marijuana.
Yeah.
It's still illegal federally. People are doing life in prison for drug sale. That's insane. That's nuts. And then you got people that murder people that are out on the street.
Yeah.
I think the whole system from from the police, from the lawmakers, the courthouse judges. It needs a whole revamp. It needs to be
The only
dead and
problem
reborn.
is it can't happen.
I know.
It's too
I know.
complex and it can't happen. And so it basically just goes until it breaks.
I know.
In the end of the day, we're the longest running constitution on earth in history.
You're right.
And every empire falls.
Yes. I was just going to say that.
Usually when they get to the end of themselves.
I know.
And that's where we're definitely headed. Like there's just, I don't know. You don't want to seem hopeless because, you know, I've got kids and I don't want to just seem hopeless for, 7 kids it's raising up. But it's like, it doesn't seem very hopeful.
No. Hopefully, with the new hopefully things change for the better.
Yeah, but it'll only be for a short season.
It's all bullshit. Yeah.
And personally, I really think that we may have a few good years, and then after these few good years, I think that's our last few good years.
And that's it.
I think it's it. I don't know what becomes after that, but I hope I'm wrong. God, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I
it's
hope.
obviously something you never want to be right about, but when you just think about it as a whole, I just don't know what it would take.
But every good empire falls.
Has to.
Yeah, it has to.
Has to. But anyway, so as far as there's another thing that I like to talk about and stuff is mental health, especially with men. And because it's not something that's talked about enough. And I would imagine that just with all the shit that you've been through, man, there's got to be some struggles that you deal with. And is there any mental health type of struggles that you maybe just had since a kid, or some that's just developed because of shit that you've been through?
I think kid. I don't want to blame the police on it. There's a little factor, but I think some things you're just born with. Genetics. I think.
100%.
Yeah, the anxiety, because I've had anxiety since I can remember, before the police, Yeah, so I think, I think I was born with just, I always had anxiety.
Yeah. So is that probably your biggest struggle? Is
The
just
anxiety and OCD.
Yeah. So how does your OCD function? Is it an organized OCD?
Organized. Everything has to have a place and nice and neat and
Oh yeah.
Like if you were to move something at the house, I would internally I'd flip out, not say anything, but I would move little shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, you would die up in this house.
No,
no, I'm just messing with you. But yeah, like my dad is OCD, and I feel like I'm pretty confident that I'm OCD, but I think that there's different levels and different types of OCD where like yours and my dad's is a much more organized and order OCD, and mine is just an obsessive compulsion for whatever.
When I can tell where you if you put your mind to something, you're going full blown. You're not giving it half-ass. And
anything.
I know. Even this.
It's like I went from drugs, I got sober, I started managing a gym, I was all in. So that was 12 years ago. That's where that started. So I started managing a gym. Not only did I manage the gym, I became a personal trainer. I was the only employee. I worked 7 days a week, 60 to 70 hours a week for 2 years. I was the only one. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Because the guy said, if you can handle it, I'll let you do it. And I said, shit, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
And so here I go. I do it. I start getting involved in the working out and stuff. And then a couple of things happened, and I ended up leaving that job and getting into the electrical. And the addiction's never been there with the electrical. The only thing that has ever been there with the addiction is just the side hustle of doing electrical work back in the day.
Yep.
I don't have to do it anymore, but I used to do a ton of side work. So every night when I would get off, I would do side work.
Yep.
And it was just the hustle is what I was addicted to. How much can I do?
Oh, yeah.
And then once I got into apprenticeship school, I got about my third year into apprenticeship, and photography kind of started taking off.
Yep.
And I never had an interest in photography.
That's
ever.
crazy.
Ever. And my dad had a camera when I was a kid. He had a nice Nikon, and I hated it. And I swore I would never do it because it annoyed the hell out of me, because it would take it everywhere we went.
Because you do good work. Because obviously, you do great. Yeah, good shit.
So yeah, I never wanted to. And so I had bought a camera because at the time I was in ministry, and I wanted to do some ministry type videos. But at the time I ended up getting really frustrated with trying to figure out the video aspect of it, because I didn't know anything about a camera. I didn't know anything about anything.
Oh, yeah.
And so somebody called me up one day and was like, will you take some family photos for us real quick? I'll pay you. And that was all it took.
Damn,
I'll pay you.
That's
And I was like, oh, I can make money doing this.
Right.
And so I went and took that $500 camera and sold it, and like went and bought 12 grand worth of professional stuff, 2 cameras, lenses. I bought it all.
That's sick.
And dude, I didn't even know how to shoot in manual. Like, I hadn't even done anything. I was like, I'm just gonna figure this out. So I sat there and I started watching YouTube, man, and the obsession. And then I got into lighting, and then nobody else was really doing lighting except for this kind of mentor that I had.
Okay.
And then so to me, I had this personal challenge of I want to be as good or better than you. And and like he's amazing. He's still better than me. Like, but at the time it was that ego, and I was like, it was 2 men competing with each other. And it was a healthy thing, man. I think it was kind of a friendly, competitive thing that we had. And it was really, really good, man. And just over the years, and then like the weddings started taking off, and I got into weddings because it's hard to be a man in wedding photography because like, women are more comfortable working with other women, and I'm not the most friendly looking fella. You know what I mean? I stand out like a sore thumb, and I know this about myself. Actually, at the time, I wasn't covered in tattoos when I first started doing it. Yeah, this has all been in the last 4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
But it came from photography. I
want to get more. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3, but I want to get more.
Yeah, I've got like 170 hours, I think.
All right, yeah, I definitely want to get more.
But I'm actually got a guy coming Monday, and his soon-to-be wife is my tattoo artist. But
maybe link me up with that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And but anyway, so the photography, the wedding started taking off because from where I was in recovery, people that were in recovery started getting married, and they started using me, and I was able to build a portfolio.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And so at the time I knew, I was like, if you're going to do this, this is your chance. Like, you have to give this everything that you got, because it's your only in to wedding photography.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's good money in it. And I'm like, I want to be there.
Exactly.
And so I just started doing it, man. And then within about 3 years, I mean, I was shooting 50 weddings a year, I was shooting 25 in a span of 10 weeks. I was doing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I was hustling the hell out of it.
And you do a lot of the holiday things too, I see on social media.
Do.
Yeah, a lot.
We do. So the weddings took off, and by the time the weddings took off, I'm 3rd year apprenticeship in electrical school, and I'm like, God, I just got to get through this school, and after that, I never really had a desire to learn more. Like, if the challenge is gone from me, I'm done with it. And so
I'm like that in a way.
So like in the electrical field, I just felt like I had, for what I would need to do to have a job, hold down a job, maintain a job, I never wanted to be just an amazing electrician. Like, I never had that drive, but I've got other aspects of my life that I am very passionate about. Don't get me wrong, the electrical has been very good to me.
Yes.
It has taken care of me. It took care of me when I was a kid. I mean, my dad was in the IBEW when I was growing up. And so it always provided, and I always saw that growing up. And so that's always been the draw, and it's why I've been there for 10 years, and I'm still there.
The trade, I mean, back in the day, it was always go to college, you want to... The trades are the way to go.
Oh, dude, I guess I should maybe talk to you about, because the local organizer for IBW, he's going to be on here next week.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
And his name's Buck, and I'm going to have him on here. But, I would imagine, because up in New York, obviously, it's union strong.
Well, the Teamsters are big.
Of course, the Teamsters have always been strong up there.
No, New York, it's very, the construction world down there. Oh,
So it's nothing like it is here. And it's like a lot of times, whenever you say union, people freak out like, no, like, this is not up north. This is a totally different union down here.
Mafia and all that shit.
Yeah, it's not like that. But it would be kind of cool if it was, though.
It would be fun.
I was down at the Chattanooga courthouse this past week doing some work. I do some work for a couple of agencies at some courthouses and stuff around here. And the fun fact about the Chattanooga courthouse, it's beautiful. It's really old. It's that old antique wood. When you're in a courtroom, when you walk into a courtroom, I've been into a lot of courtrooms in my life.
Yeah.
When you go into the federal courtroom in Chattanooga and you walk in, if you've made it there, you have fucked up.
Right.
Like,
I testified in federal court once in my life.
Yeah.
Federal court's no joke.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about, this place is sophisticated looking. I mean, it's it's old, and it's like when you walk in, it's intimidating. You're just you feel like you've really messed up.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah, oh yeah.
And but anyway, so Jimmy Hoffa was tried there back in the day.
Really? Was he really?
Yeah, they were trying him in Nashville, and his people found out and like raided him, and so they secretly transported him to Chattanooga overnight. And they one of the guards took me upstairs, and he showed me out this little window, and he was like, "There's a hotel across the street," and he said, even though they transported him in the middle of the night, his guys still knew and followed him. And he said the next morning, whenever they brought Hoffa into court, you could look outside, and his men were all on the roof with the antennas listening, ready to raid the place.
What do you think happened? I don't know. That's crazy shit, though.
I think Kennedy should have backed off.
Oh, yeah. We can get into it, yeah. I mean,
yeah, he should have let that gold thing along maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I get into some conspiracies
Me too.
a little bit, and that's always fun. But I don't know how I got onto that, but because I was talking about the photo and video and stuff. But yeah, dude, I've always I don't know. I started getting kind of burnt out on the weddings after a while. You know, you do so many, and it's just like it almost all kind of becomes the same.
Right.
Just like in any day-to-day job that you have, at the end of the day, it becomes a day-to-day job.
Yeah.
And I started backing off on how many weddings for two reasons. First of all, I was burnt out. And then second of all, maybe kind of that same realization that you had once you finally had to have that acceptance of leaving the detective or the NYPD of just being like, maybe this is not all bad.
Exactly. And at the time, I thought it was like maybe not the end of that's a little extreme to say, but the end of my life, let's just say. It was a bad place. You know, I wasn't suicidal, right? Not that, but I was depressed and anxiety and everything. But it turned out, I mean, now looking back, it was the best thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say because at the moment, and now going into the mental health aspect, your perceived issue, problem. Let's say, I had my own problem. You have yours. This one has his. In the grand scheme of things, people wish they could have that problem. They have bad problem. And it puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
That it's fucked up. It's a fucked up situation that you're in. And this and that, but it gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better. Anything. I mean,
for sure. Absolutely.
And that's why going back to the police department. Going back to mental health with them as well. The department has mental health departments to basic divisions to assist employee assistance and things like that. But with the police department, a lot of people feel maybe similar with the military. They don't feel comfortable going that route because are they gonna get in trouble? Are they gonna modify me, take my gun away? Shit like that. There's an outside group really made up of active and retired and only NYPD. Mm-hmm. There's no rank structure. It's just if you're a chief and I'm a cop, it's just all first name basis, and it's a peer support system called PAPA. Mm-hmm. So it provides peer support for officers. From suicide to gambling problems, and divorces, anything. And a lot of people choose to go that route than going formally. But it's such a success, PAPA, and I highly recommend it if there's any NYPD people out there. If you haven't anything, go through PAPA, not the job. That's my person. I'll stand by that. Because it's independent and they have so much positivity and support through the department that, let's say, God forbid, you're a cop somewhere and you were suicidal. Mm-hmm. If you go through the job, it's going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
They will take you, and the job even allows it, where the job doesn't even know why you're out. It could be.
That's
awesome. Anything really. I'm going through a bad divorce. Or you can say, oh yeah, I'm going through a bad divorce, but it's really something very, very even bad, worse than that.
Yeah.
So the job supports PAPA, so that's good. But it's a peer support now where everyone deals with every cop, doctor.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And that's something that I like to think that this channel is kind of doing in a similar way, is just giving a place for people to talk, or for a place for other people to see that other people are struggling and it's not just them. And hopefully that encourages some people to start talking about it. So I'm hoping that this channel, this group that we've got, is almost a stepping stone for some people to get some help or learn how to talk so they can get the help they need. Because the more guys that I talk to, that's why I'm so adamant on this being a guys thing, is because we have our own struggles. I can't understand what a woman goes through. I can't.
No, me
I
either.
can try, but I can't.
Right.
Like, I can sympathize, but like, I do recognize that there's a ton of dudes out there that don't have anybody to talk to because they don't know they need that, or they've never had that, or just there's so many different reasons even. And so just trying to give people that place to where they just can.
Yep.
Or if nothing else, at least learn that it's okay to.
Exactly. And it's spreading. I mean, even on the profile, Facebook profile, a lot of people are opening up, myself included, you know, not to this degree, but for a little brief bio, but I mean, a ton of other people, and it's really nice. And it is, we use the word organic. It's becoming organic.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's all I could ever want, man, because like I just, deep down inside, I know that if I don't keep it organic and raw and just be as authentic as I can in this process, and if I start forcing it, it's going to force either in a different direction or it's going to just collapse altogether. And there's no other direction I could want to go that wouldn't be a selfish reason.
And your podcast, and this is all real. Like, this is not we didn't really talk. And once you go the opposite direction where you force things, people can call that out.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why I think the way you're going is great, and just organic. It's showing it's real.
Yeah,
it's all.
And it's funny, man, how like on TikTok and stuff. Like, I take these when I do these videos. Yeah. I've got this program that I just put the video into, and it cuts me like 30 or 40 reels.
Oh, really?
And I can just share it. And it's and I got one I just posted, and it was like 115,000 people. Just
really?
Like that. And like, I didn't even do nothing.
That's crazy.
You know, but it's crazy how people get on there and they just like start coming at you. And I'm like, no, I'm nobody. And like, they just start coming at you. And like several people was like, man, he's trying to be like Theo Vaughn. And I'm like, dude, like, I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. Because I love Theo Vaughn, first of all. So it's kind of a compliment. And I'm a chameleon. And I probably do from time to time have some characteristics that are maybe like him. I've watched a lot of his podcasts. Yeah. I'm an addict and I'm a chameleon, dude. Everybody mimics somebody.
I like Joe Rogan.
We pick up our personalities off of people around us, man. People around you mold you and shape you. So if you want to be better, you have to surround yourself with better people.
Yep.
You know, and so that's just human nature. You will become what you surround yourself with. It's not just something people say.
And positive thinking, you know, it sounds silly, but it works. Be mindful of positive thinking. And I'm no expert. You know, I'm not perfect at all, but I started doing the Bible in a Year program, and this is coming from someone that, I mean, I said some terrible things about God in the past. You know, and I didn't want nothing to do with it. I said terrible things, and I just found the church I go to now, Powell Presbyterian. I didn't grow up religious. I was baptized. I was Episcopalian, but we didn't go to church.
I think my aunt and uncle always went there. They moved to Florida,
really?
but I think they always went there.
Okay, it's very open-minded, believe it or not. Very, very good church. Accepts everybody. You know, it's good. And the reason why I found it was and I had no desire going to church. This happened about a year ago on Ash Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was donating some goods to the Blessing Box, and the Blessing Box is something that we do at the KMP. It's a pantry where you leave what you can, take what you need.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Pastas, anything. You know. You heard of it? Yeah. They're all over, believe it or not. Once you start looking for them, you'll see them. So I donated, and I saw a banner they had that said anyone's welcome, and you know that kind of was nice. So I said, you know what? Let me try it out. And I think Ash Wednesday, that was the first time I went. Mm-hmm. And I went, and it was a very welcoming group. I made great friends, and I go every Sunday. Yeah. You know, I go on a lot of Wednesdays, too. And I'm like, it's just weird. If you told me this even 5 years ago, I'd be like, you're fucking crazy. I'm never going, no, I will not step in. The church's going to crumble. Yeah. You know, when I walk in, it's another best thing I ever did. Another great thing.
Like Al Pacino what's that
Remember
movie?
That? Oh,
he walks up in there and
that was good. Yeah.
Dude, he puts his finger in the holy water, starts sizzling. God, what was that movie? It was such a good movie.
That was. But I had, and that was me. I was wrong. I was stereotyping. You know, I even people that were religious, it's fucked up saying them now, but I would look down upon, like who are you? Double standard, you know.
For sure.
You know, like, you're preaching this, but then what are you doing behind closed? You know, shit like that. Like, who are you to judge? Yeah. And this place is not like that. It just opened my eyes to a lot of shit.
Yeah, dude.
In a good way, good shit.
So what do you think, so if you were like kind of against it, I guess in a way your whole life, like what was it that intrigued you about it?
To join, you mean? Yeah.
Or just to read the Bible?
Oh, yeah.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? Did you read the Bible first? Or did you
just started going. I actually just recently started to read the Bible. But I've been going to church for about a year now.
Gotcha.
And I mean, I just like it's it's just something different out of my not now, but it was out of my comfort zone. Now it's part of my comfort zone. But
there's a lot of peace there.
Peace and like clarity, I guess, and putting shit into perspective that things are going to be all right. You're okay, and you know, and it's really good. You know? And a big thing of it, and I don't broadcast this much, but I'm open about it. So I'll just be honest with you. Yeah. I'm openly gay. They accept everybody there, so that was a major thing as well.
Gotcha.
I don't agree with some of the people there politically because I'm not a hardcore Republican, but I'm a Trump supporter. I'm good, you know. Yeah. So going back to stereotypes, just like police we stereotyped. Other people, you know, people might think, oh, gay guy, feminine. There's people you would never know. So that's an aspect of it too. It just goes into you can't judge people, but you know.
No, you really can't.
I used to judge people. You know, and you'd be surprised, even in sales, judging people. And I'm going all over the place, but it makes sense because the person that you think has a ton of money, that they're gonna buy it. Sometimes they don't. Yeah. And the person that you least expect, you know, they'll finance, they'll get it. They're going to get it done somehow. Yeah. And so you can't judge. You know, you walk into people's homes, you can't judge.
Yeah.
You know,
I was terrible about that. I was raised with a lot of prejudices, I feel like. And I'm in the South, you know, and I was raised with a lot of prejudices in a lot of ways.
Come on. I mean, let's be real. We're talking real.
Yeah.
We all do. I still have some prejudice. Yeah. You know, come on. If you don't, I think you're bullshitting, you know? Yeah. But you check on, you know,
yeah, we're a product of our environment,
you know,
and it doesn't excuse maybe the thought processes and the patterns, but you can't escape what you're a product of. You can fight against it. You can improve on that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if that was something that you were brought up in, there's going to be some core thing in there that's always just there, you know? Yep. And like we can fight it and we can fight it. And I'm grateful that over time, a lot of those prejudices I've had have went away because they've been proven wrong on so many levels, so many times. And it's caused me to change my thought processes. Because that's a lot of what it is changing thought processes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I think that, like, as far as, like, Christianity goes, man, I think that if people would just be a lot more concerned of the words that Jesus said and stop worrying about everybody else,
I know.
It would be a lot better of a place. Because one thing that helped me was realizing, because I was a very judgmental Christian for a long time and did a lot of damage in that space. And I don't know, man. I just had to overcome that and realize that, like, at the end of the day, Zach, have zero authority over anybody's life to save or condemn.
Exactly. Right.
I am commanded to go out into the world and give the gospel to everybody, regardless of who you are. Yeah. Like, here's the thing, and we'll just be honest.
Fucking be honest.
So several years ago in wedding photography, my very first LGBT couple got in touch with me. It was two ladies, and I remember she called me, and she was so sweet. And she said, look, I know your beliefs. And she said, we go to a church here that, you know, accepts us, welcomes us. And she said, we absolutely love your work, but we also respect your beliefs.
That's nice. That's
crazy.
Yeah.
So I was like conflicted.
I know.
And so I'm sitting there. This is at the same time the whole cake situation in America, the great cake herd around the world. Yeah. And so, you know, so it's a fresh topic on everybody's mind and stuff. And I'm just sitting here thinking about it. And I was like, I want to be as respectful as I can, but I also have to stand to my own kind of morals and stuff. And I was like I'm going to have to walk away from this when I apologize.
Right.
I got off the phone with her, and I was sitting there, and because she was obviously upset, she wasn't offended, she understood, but she wanted me for my work.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sitting there, and the conviction starts growing, and it was different for me because I wasn't expected to have a conviction over that because I'm standing firm in my moral high road, you know.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, it hit me. If Jesus was a carpenter and somebody asked him to make a table, would he have said, "Are you straight? Is this for a straight family?"
Shit, yeah.
If not, no. You're absolutely not.
Yeah.
I am a business owner that owns a business performing a service for a type of industry.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
Exactly.
I love Benjamins, and I love doing the work. So, like, to say no just for that reason is the most anti-Christian thing that I could do. You know, because if nothing else, and let's just say that I am right, and let's just say there is like this ultimate thing with it.
Right.
And my responsibility is to give gospel. Why not just show up and be the most loving Christian I can and work for those people?
It's like, why can't all churches be, and the gay shit aside, there are churches that won't allow drug addicts in there.
Or look at them crazy when they're in there.
Yeah, that's fucked up. There's people,
stare at them the whole time.
There's people that would look down upon someone that's tatted up. There's people that would look down if you're black or China. It's a gay. It's the gay just one. There's a ton of aspects.
Yeah,
you know.
Sure.
And going back to, and I'm bringing up the gay thing because you can't go by stereotypes. There's a ton of Republican. There's a ton of liberal. There's a ton of this, that. People that you wouldn't know. People that you think are that aren't.
Yeah.
So it's just keep an open mind. You know. Respect people, kindness, spread kindness out there, no matter who the hell you are. Who gives a shit at the end of the day?
Life's too short to be angry and mad at people all the time for no
Especially
reason.
for that bullshit. Right. You know, and just, I mean, be more accepting to everybody. And I mean, I'm white. You can be friends with a black, Chinese, this, that. Just open up your mind. You'll be surprised.
For real.
You'll be surprised that, you know, your prejudices and your stereotypes go out the door pretty fucking quick.
Yeah. When you sit there and start talking to people, man.
Everyone's the same shit. Same shit. I can talk to anybody.
Yeah. That was what first started changing some of my attitude, some of my views, is actually it was right after I had this conversion experience in jail. It was May 16th, 2012 is when I had my conversion, when I got saved.
You remember it, yeah.
And yeah, it was a wild day. That was the day they were telling me I was going to prison, and I come back and I had this whole God encounter without even looking. I wasn't praying, I wasn't reading. I was just overcome with fear all of a sudden. It was an overwhelming fear that if I got high again, I'd die and wake up in hell. You never went to prison before that, though? No, but I had been in jail like 7 times in 2 years. I mean, that was I'd been.
I mean, I'm not downplaying jail,
but sure.
But yeah.
No, but they were done with me. But it was also a flaw of the justice system where they bank on you to fail, and so they'll give you 2 years of probation, then they'll give you 2 more years, and they'll stack and stack and stack, and then they'll cash in at 10. You know, and
that's going back to me saying the whole system needs a rehaul.
It does.
It's ridiculous.
It's such a dirty game.
It really is.
And where was I going with that?
Oh, when you the day you found yourself, you know, and going to prison.
Yeah, and so so they told me I was going to prison. I didn't end up going. It was a whole God thing.
Oh, good.
I've not talked about it in full extent, so I guess it's a good time. I'll just do that real quick.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So when I had this experience, I just remember. I kind of just fell down to my knees, man, and just totally surrendered and was just like, I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm just going to trust that if I go to prison, if I don't go to prison,
you'll make it out.
I'm not going to get high again. And like this is what I'm doing. It was like that Paul and Road to Damascus moment. It was this conversion experience I had where I wasn't looking for it. I was actually trying to do exactly the opposite, man. I was in total defiance against God. You know, I was an enemy of His.
Oh, were you? Yeah.
Total defiance. Yeah. I mean, I was an addiction. I'm out living in the world. I'm partying. I'm getting high.
Yeah.
GD's my favorite word. And I don't take a breath without saying it, dude. I mean, at that point, I was pretty much just a full-blown agnostic. Like,
oh, really? Okay.
Raised very...
Because you were raised. That's why I'm...
Very Christian.
Yeah.
Got into Satanism.
Interesting.
At 18.
Okay. No, that's interesting.
Spent a little time in Satanism. Had an experience. I have talked about that on one of the podcasts. Had an experience one night and scared me. And so I walked away from it and said, I'm just going to be an agnostic. Because I couldn't be an atheist at that point. Because I had saw something. So you can't be an atheist at that point.
I went through atheist. I went through Yeah.
But so I was like, well, agnostic, maybe not. I'm just going to go get really loaded and not think about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so once I had this conversion experience, so like I said, I was not looking. I was as far as I could possibly have gotten away.
I wasn't.
You know, and so I had this conversion, man, and I just I knew it. Something had changed him. And it was the first time that I was confident that I was going to get out and not get high again. And it was crazy because so many times I would get out of jail and I would talk myself up and be like, I'm not getting high. I'm sober now, because I'd be in there for a couple months.
Right.
And I'd be like, all right, I'm sober now. I'm going to get out. And the craziest shit would happen the moment I got out. And some random person would know I was getting out before I did and be sitting in the parking lot with 2 pills crushed up on a case ready to go. And I'm just like, well, back to the races, baby. Yep. And so there we would go. And so anyway, this last time, I don't know, I was so confident that I was just done. Now, I was still dope sick.
I'm sure.
Still sick. Like, it's not like I had this miraculous thing and he just took that away from me. Not that he can't, but he didn't.
Sick. You can get sick.
Oh, I was sick.
I've seen it.
I withdrew in jail 7 times, and it was 14 days of just misery every time. And so, but anyway, after I had this conversion experience, I realized really quickly I'm in a cell for 23 hours a day with nothing to do. The best thing that I can do at this point is start building a foundation in a relationship. Because when I get out, I know something's going to be whatever.
Yep.
Whether it be prison, wherever I'm going,
I know
it's going to be, I need a foundation. And so I sit there, dude, and I studied, and I studied, and I studied, and the addiction took off. And I started I still got every note I ever took in jail upstairs, dude. I got that thick, that yellow legal pad.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Shit.
And so anyway, I sit there and I started studying and just kind of building this relationship. And then within a couple of weeks, man, I would sit out in the pod and just start reading the Bible, and a couple of guys would come over and sit down, and we would just sit and talk. And I had a lot of cool experiences doing that. And I'm sure at that time a lot of people thought I had jailhouse religion, and I had found jailhouse religion several times. I knew that one was different. I just knew it was different. And
it's a real thing, Josh. And I'll go into this when you're done, because there's something with this, but it's real. And there's scammers, of course, but no, it's a real thing. Yeah,
for sure. And so, but anyway, I remember I was sitting there one night in my cell, and at this time, I'm still using heavy language and everything else like that. Like, you don't when you get saved, when you come to the Lord, you just don't change overnight. You think a couple of rough fishermen out on the Galilean Sea just quit cussing overnight when Jesus came along? Y'all lost your mind. I bet Jesus had to call Peter down a couple of times, look over at him crazy. Oh, you know that happened around a campfire once or twice. He forgot the Lord was sitting there next to him.
It's okay to curse. It's all right.
I have changed my view on that also. So
have you really?
Because I used to not cuss at all. Like, once I got saved, I didn't cuss for 7 years. I didn't say one word. I was afraid to, terrified. Really, not joking.
But now you'll flip.
I would have a dream in the middle of the night that I had said a cuss word and get up and repent. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it was, man. And so, but anyway, I was sitting in my cell one night, and so when you're in there, everybody's cell is connected with the air duct system, and that's how people communicate. You talk through the air ducts. And so at nighttime, once everything's kind of settled down, everybody's back on lockdown, it gets rowdy. All night it's rowdy. But I was sitting there, and I was just listening to everybody kind of go on, and it was just F this, F this, blah, 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 blah. And I was sitting there, and I was like, I sound ignorant. Like, every other word out of my mouth. Like, it wasn't even the fact that I was cussing and I felt like this crazy conviction, but it was like,
in general,
I can't even, my vocabulary is limited to 4 words to explain. My verbiage is 4 words. You know what I mean? And like, I feel ignorant. But then I also sitting there and I was like, every one of us in here is a product of our environment. Every one of us. And it changed everything.
That's great.
I started looking at people different. I started talking to people different. I don't know. The Lord just started doing something with that, I guess. And it all started with this like cussing and stuff. And it was like, and I had this realization about myself. And then, I don't know, it was just a whole thing, man. And so
interesting.
It was really cool. And then,
the woman, did you ever end up linking back up with her, the photographer, the lesbian couple?
Yes, I actually did their wedding.
Oh, you did? All right, good. Okay, good.
Oh, I meant to tell you that. Yeah,
that's
so
cool.
I did call them back
she was happy,
after that realization.
Yeah.
And she's awesome. One of the brides, she just finished some master's program. She's been in school for like 30 years now, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I think this was the last one. Like, she's really successful. She's really pushed herself. It's just cool to watch, man.
Now, you would have never thought, and I feel bad, I'm cursing constantly, and we're talking about,
dude, I do all the time.
But 10 years ago, would you ever think you'd be doing that? No, you never thought.
Oh, no.
Just like, right.
Hell, the night she called me, I was like,
I know.
You know.
That's why it's so crazy how shit changed. Like me with the church. I would have never went to church. And now I'm into it. It's just people change.
People change, man.
It's good.
And it's just like, and we depend on God to change us, God to change us. Like when we start building a relationship with Him, He will change the things in us that need to change.
I believe, yeah.
I think that the closer that we walk with Him, I know with me, like the closer that I walk with Him, He definitely shows me things I need to stop doing.
It's true.
And if I don't want to think about the things I'm doing, I don't walk so close.
I know, you're right.
You know, there's a whole thing there.
Right.
And it's just like when if I get caught up in myself and just like, I don't know, man. You don't want to have a relationship because you feel like Dad's going to find out.
Yes,
you know? And but He knows anyway.
Exactly.
And it's just, man.
I pray multiple times a day now.
Yeah.
Going from nothing.
Dude, it's incredible.
I know, it's crazy. It's just weird how life, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
cool though. It's good.
You got to have an open mind in life. You can't be so closed-minded that like, I don't know. It's a slippery slope.
It's true.
And you know what's really funny? I have to believe that my Lord is a sovereign Lord, and He's a funny Lord, and He has a sense of humor.
Think so.
And He's very serious. Don't get me wrong. He's very, very serious about what He says and what He does. But I believe He has to have a sense of humor. And I really think that when we all get there and we're standing there, He's going to look at all of us and say, y'all are way off. Every one of you.
I think so.
We're way off.
You're right.
He might not say that.
it.
I feel like we'll probably just realize it. I don't think you'll have to say very much.
No, you're right.
You know?
It's just. I mean, it all goes back to being a good person, and you can screw up. See, I'm watching what I say. You can screw up.
Dude, I'm telling you, you don't have to.
No. You can be a bad. I mean, you can be a bad person.
Yeah.
You know, and bad that definition, you know, can be a range of things. I'm not saying, you know, murder people, but going back to how you said 10 years ago, you probably never would have done that. Now how things change. I would have never done what I do now in regards to prison pen pal.
Oh, that's cool.
So, first of all, we weren't even allowed when you can't do that.
I get that though.
But I had no desire anyway. Even if we were allowed, that never crossed my mind. And I actually have a friendship with someone for many years now, where we even talk on the phone, correspond. Great person. Won't go into the details, but of why he's there or anything. But in prison, and I just going back. I never thought I would do something like that. And it's people change. You know,
people do change.
You know,
and it's like, especially like when somebody's in prison or somebody. Another flaw with the system is like every other prison pretty much in the world educates you to be back in society. And we do nothing. Like, we do nothing to help anybody. We set you up for failure. We stack a bunch of shit on. Because for me, it's just like you get so hopeless in the situation. And once you get into the system and they do start stacking shit, it's easier just to keep getting high and deal with consequences as they come than doing something about it. Because once I changed mine and I was like, okay, I got to get... Dude, it was not easy. It was 7 years of probation. I had 6 different courts, Knox, Anderson, and Blount County. I had 3 courts in Knox County. I had to pay every single one of them every single month. They all wanted their money. I was making minimum wage. Child support took 50% of my money.
Yep.
I was living in a halfway house because I was court ordered to be there, so they took all my money. Like, there was no money to do anything with, man. And it's just like, and it took forever of just whatever it took to get there. And but it would have been so much easier just to keep getting high, go to prison, hang out for a couple of years, get out, do it again. Because the reality is once you go to prison, it either does one of two things. It changes you or it hardens you. 75 to 80% of the time, it hardens you. And so, and I
still get high there. I mean, people think you can't.
For sure.
right.
Bro, I was getting high in county jail.
Cell phones. I mean, you name it.
Yeah, whatever. Dude,
it's like out. It's another society. It's just like here, but in there.
It's weird when you hit them weird prison TikTok algorithms, and you're
seen
like,
that shit.
how are y'all not getting hemmed up right now?
And why would you post your face? Come on, with facial recognition now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
I don't know. Throw a brown bag on or something. I don't know.
But my buddy, he actually got his master's degree in prison, and just didn't get involved with the gang stuff. Didn't get involved with drugs. Never touched drugs, believe it or not.
Hey, if you ever go to prison, your best bet is to not click up with a gang. Just fun fact. Just be your own self and. Well, don't go to prison, first of all. But if you end up there, just...
Don't run with a crowd.
Yeah, just do your own thing. You know, do your time. Get a bologna sandwich and a book and rest your neck for a little while.
And that's what he did. He didn't get involved in the whole race shit and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
No drugs, thank God. And he's doing good. We'll see.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm excited to see how this ends up for him.
That's awesome, man. I think that... I don't know, man. I think that if you can get yourself... If you can do it while you're in prison and you can maintain a positive outlook and you can develop a routine and you can, I think you could totally train as long as you got the right support system.
Yep.
If you can find some help when you get out, just somebody just to kind of be there for you. Yeah, I think your chances go way up for sure. And the fact that, you know, he's doing that shows that he has a desire to change. I think it's a beautiful thing.
No, it is. And there are people just, I mean, yeah, there's some people out there that don't deserve a second chance, you know, with certain crimes. But majority of people deserve a second chance. I'm not saying you're a Ted Bundy serial killer, you should not be released, or a child, you know, predator, you should not be released. But people fuck up. If you fuck, you know, you're a kid and you did something, you know, you shouldn't, you know, there should be a second chance, you know.
Yeah,
the juvenile offender things, and I've been looking into a lot of stuff since my eyes have opened up. You know, the juvenile lifers. There's things with that. I don't know if you're
that is such a tragic thing when you see a kid that's
14, 15 in jail for life. Yeah. I mean, is that really going to help the problem? I don't know.
Yeah. And sometimes kids are just bad, but sometimes I have to believe that like a lot of times it's because of some environment they've been in that's got them to that point. And God, you just gotta feel bad for them, man. And that's why everybody just needs some love and some patience, and that's why you just gotta be there for some people.
You have to.
God, talk to gentlemen. Take the time to just talk to people. Yep. Like we get so caught up in life, and we get so caught up in our own selves, and our own egos and stuff. And like, if we would just take the time to talk to some other people and realize other people got stuff going on too. I don't know, because I noticed that if I start getting too into my own self, I kind of get miserable.
Yes.
Like I spend too much time on myself. It's not a good place to be. And I got to give some of that energy to some other people, you know, and it's healthy. And
You're right. I mean, and anyone out there watching, you know, Zach, you can hit me up on there. You'll find a way to find me somehow, but I'll be there. I'll be there for you about anything. It doesn't matter what the issue is. Like you need someone just to hear you out. I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm sure, and probably the majority of almost everybody in that group is as well.
Yeah,
definitely,
dude. This has been so much fun. You've really got into some deep stuff with me, and I'm so excited about that. I'm not even done yet. Let's just keep talking for a second.
Yeah,
you know what? Because I'm kind of liking this this kind of Christianity talk just a little bit though, because it's just intriguing to me in some ways, and like. I don't know. So when you're reading, are you on a program right now?
I am. I'm on a I'm on the. It's a free app. You know.
Yeah. Read it in a year.
It's a read it in a year.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to do it a little quicker, but you know, life. But I'm at least getting a couple you know, portions of it.
Where's it starting at? Does it start like in Genesis?
Chronological.
Oh, does it start with Job?
It actually starts with Genesis, but it's going all over the place. It's
historically Job's the oldest book in the Bible.
Like it's this little app, the whole 1 year chronological.
Gotcha.
Bible. You know,
gotcha.
It's a good. It's cool. You know, it's a good change, and just like you said, like we're having a good conversation. I would have 10 years ago never even open up half of the shit I said.
Yeah,
I would keep it to myself. But it's if I can help one other person, you know, guy out there. With anything, you know, any mental health, anything that's going on, really, it's worth me being honest and open.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's incredible. Yeah,
because I would have never. I'm pretty private for the moment. Maybe not, but in certain aspects, I'm pretty private. And open up like this.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
And the fact that you will sit here and just open up and be transparent, man, allows other people that same space. Because sometimes it just takes the courage of seeing some other people do it. Because I get people all the time. It's like, bro, I got a story and I want to tell it, but I don't know if I can. And I understand because sometimes too, there's like maybe some other people that you think might watch it that might be offended and stuff. And that's one reason why I like to have our just men's group where like if there is something that you can just come in there and we can just talk about it. It's private. It's just us. You know, it's like it's a He-Man woman hater club. We're like the little rascals up in there. We got Spanky for our logo.
Yeah. Yep.
No, but I am going to create another page also too. I had another buddy of mine. He was talking to me about this the other day. So I do have the gentleman's corner. Well, I'm going to create another page just for the podcast because I think it would still be cool to give a place for people to just everybody to be able to just talk and stuff also.
Now these podcasts, are they aired? They're on YouTube, I know. Facebook, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned Instagram or
I do some on TikTok. TikTok is just short reels and stuff.
Okay, cool.
And then I've got to get better on Spotify. I don't think people use Spotify a lot for podcasts. People would rather watch video and stuff, I think. Yeah. But I do try to start getting them on Spotify and stuff more. But yeah.
Is it open for outside the group that we have? Can other people see the podcast or?
Oh yeah. So
good.
everybody sees the podcast.
Just
I post it in the group, and then I also post it on my personal page and stuff like that. But like I said, the group is just so men can get in there and just talk about it.
That's good.
And so, but like I said, I had a buddy of mine, and he was just like, for the longevity of the podcast and stuff, because you do ultimately there is a diverse group of people, men and women and stuff that do watch. And then it would be cool to have a place for everybody, but I definitely just want to focus on the men's thing though, because that will always just be an important aspect for me, especially this soon into it. How so many people are reaching out.
That's cool. How many guests have you had now?
So I've had, as of today, at 4 o'clock. I don't know what time it is, but at 4 o'clock, episode 14 comes out. So
that's good.
We've done that in a short amount of time, man. That's just been 4 or 5 weeks for 14 episodes in. So
I would love for my dad to come on. He has a good story.
Yeah,
especially he has similarities with you and just the business mindset. I would love that. And he, I think, with the addiction mindset, if you put your mind to, just like in prison, like there's smart people in prison. They're not just dumb. If they put their mind to it out here, they'd be multi-millionaire business people. They just have to do it legal. Put all your crazy shit that you're doing into a legal business, you'd be freaking millionaire.
Do you know how many Fortune 500 companies are owned by addicts?
A lot, right?
A lot.
I know Dave's Bread, which is a cool story. And I'm sure there's a
bunch of them because the addict drive,
it's like entrepreneur. Yeah.
It is, and
in like a weird way.
I could put my addiction there, but I would have to sell my soul to do it. Like I would give everything.
Yes.
And to get to that level, you do sell your soul essentially to get there. I mean, you give up family, you give up everything, and it's just it's not worth it, man.
That's fun. It's but I mean, even like on a super level, like there's prisoners. I'm sure like the food, like you guys cook. You get stuff from outside, whatever you got to do to make a meal outside of what the shit they give you.
Oh yeah, making a loaf up in there out of some ramen noodles and some Doritos
shit like that.
And stuff. Some summer sausage, little okra left over from dinner.
Have you done that?
Oh, dude. Yeah. Hey, I done it so much that I would get out of jail and forget and still be in jail mindset and be in my mama's living room with a newspaper crushing up.
Yeah,
dude.
So
I'm gonna culture my kids in here one night, make a big loaf on the table.
You should. and I think with that, some of them went out and did cookbooks and became successful. So put that mindset. Yeah,
I can totally see that, man. Well, it's funny because whenever I was managing that gym, the guy that owned it at the time, he always tried to take care of me. He always wanted to help me get on track. It just I don't know. He just tried to help me. And so I was like, can I start selling supplements in here, like protein powder and stuff like that? He's like, yeah. He's like, keep your profit. He's like, just do whatever. I was like, all right, cool. So I was like, I can sell this like dope.
Yeah.
And I did. I started buying bulk and then sell them individually, flipping it. and I started bringing in 500 profit roughly a week just on the side, just
That's
flipping it.
smart.
So, but now like the cologne, I sell cologne.
I know that. Yeah.
Bro, that's just like breaking down, buying a pound and breaking it down into a 20 bag.
Hustle, and
It's
you're
the same
hustling.
thing, dude.
It really is.
And it's legal. Do you know how many cops have rolled up on me in a parking lot while I've been selling to somebody?
have they
Because
really?
I'm
Yeah,
mobile.
yeah.
Like I got Pelican cases. I'll meet you, let you sample and everything.
What did they
dude.
laugh though when they find out?
I had to sell them cologne before they leave.
Have you? Good.
Several times.
Oh, good. That's cool. That's
Several
cool.
times, man. So like, I don't know.
That's funny.
An addict has a drive. And here's something cool that I think you should pay attention to as you do continue studying Scripture. When you get to Paul, Paul is an intriguing character to me because nobody will ever convince me he's not an addict.
Yeah, right. Because I'm still new to this. But Paul had a lot of shit going on, right? Yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, Paul wrote 26 books of the New Testament. He penned most of it.
Yep.
And yeah, dude went through a lot.
Yeah.
A lot, man. But you can see his addict nature acting in everything that he done, man.
Yeah.
Because he was Saul before he became Paul. Right. Because he was persecuting the church.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was ruthless. He was top tier. He was the top notch. And he even let you know in Philippians, I was the top stock.
Okay.
I kept the letter to the T.
Yeah.
And but so you see that addict drive and you see that addict drive switch when he becomes a Christian, and it's still there.
I know.
Like you couldn't stop him.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
And so I like to think that God used an addict to achieve his purpose there.
It's true. Yeah.
And so I don't know if anybody could have done it but an addict, though. Seriously. Like Paul had to sacrifice everything, but he had one goal. Like one laser focused thing that he was focused on. And
it's interesting.
It is interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I mean, when you start breaking it down, it just comes to light. Like everything's real. Like, it's crazy.
It's wild, man. It's a beautiful thing. But Mike, thank you so much for being here, dude. This has been so much fun. You will be back. We will cigar shop next time.
Yes. I think that would be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah. Mike loves cigars.
A daily smoker.
And so we're going to try to find a cigar lounge that we can do a podcast in. And
I think that would be cool.
100%.
That would be sick, actually.
We're going to do it.
Yeah.
So, and we will definitely have your dad on here.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And he's a big cigar guy, too.
Yeah.
That's where I got it from.
Any last words you want to leave anybody before we go?
Thank you, for everything.
Yeah.
And anyone need anything, you know where to reach out.
Yeah, for sure. Mike's in the group, so if you're in the Gentleman's Corner on Facebook, Mike is definitely in there. If you're not in the Gentleman's Corner, I encourage you to get on there. Just ask to be in it. You have to send us an invite, and we'll approve it. But we would love to have you in there. So thank you so much, dude, for coming on. Gentlemen, I love you. Thank you so much for coming by. Thanks for just kicking it with us for just a little bit. If you don't have people, find people, and then tell those people that you love them. I'm Zach. This is Man to Mike. We'll holler at you later.
Thanks.